Really, this is a real conversation. It's about emotion. It's about experience. It's about life. So I don't want you to feel like you have to filter yourself. You can say as much or as little as you guys want to say, as you ladies want to say. You guys ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So,
are they ready?
She said, "Are you guys ready?" So we're definitely going to have some real conversation, because that's what it's about. Just keeping it real and telling our stories, because our stories heal and help other people in their testimonies. And it's always a good thing when you can turn your mess into a message. Even if you're still in the process of doing that, someone can still learn and saying, it's hard for them too. I'm not the only one that is difficult for. I'm not the only one that missed my dad, or my dad wasn't there emotionally, but he was there physically, or he was there physically, but he wasn't there emotionally, whatever it is, or my dad was a great dad, whatever the case may be. But today we're talking about the importance of a father, not just in a daughter's life, but just in their child's life. So I'm going to start with you, Shawna. Let's talk about dads. Tell me a little bit about your dad, and then we'll go on to your children's father. But tell me a little bit about the relationship with your dad.
There really isn't one. I know who he is, but we don't speak.
Okay. So have you ever spoken?
Yes, when I was a little bit younger, but as I got older, he chose to make decisions to go live his life, and that's just kind of where the cookie crumbled.
How old were you?
The last time I saw him, it was middle school, so what's that, like 11, 12?
Yeah.
Something like that. So like in that age range.
So with your father not being in your life, I'm sure when you needed him the most, how did that make you feel? And did you feel anything? Or was it like out of sight, out of mind? What did you feel about your father not being there?
I mean, with me, it was kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mainly knew my grandmother as my primary supporter and caretaker, so It was just kind of like, when he popped in, it was like, oh, okay, you're here, and then when he left, it was like, okay, you're gone. It didn't really faze me because I didn't know him that well.
Mm-hmm. So it was like you didn't miss what you really never had.
Yeah, to me, I can't speak for my brother, but for me, you weren't there before, so it really didn't bother me.
Now, has it played out in your adulthood in any way that your father was missing? Do you feel like maybe some of the choices or decisions, or just some of your life past, or whatever, because it could have or could have not, affected you in any type of manner? But can you look at your life and say, if I had a dad here, or I needed a dad, or I wanted to talk, or you don't feel that's the case?
I can't really say yay or nay, in that, because I don't really know what it's like to have that figure in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't necessarily say, like, my decisions would have been better decisions, or I would have made different decisions. I can go off, like, with some of my friends who, I have friends who their father was there, and I have friends whose fathers weren't there, and, I mean, they've made poor decisions, and some of them have made better decisions, so I can't really say how that role would have played on the decisions, or how my life ended up shaping to be.
Right, because you don't know what you don't know. So
yeah, I don't know what I missed out on. I mean,
right.
Like, I guess in a sense, like, now I have this thing where, and I hate to say it because I feel like so many women say it these days, but it's like, I have this mentality of, like, I don't need a man to, like, do the things that I need to do, and I'm trying to get out of that, like, superwoman mechanism.
And you're still young, too. Like, you're still kind of young, so, yeah.
Yeah, but I just, Yeah, I am young. You're right.
But I'm saying you have time to. Well, yeah, but you have time. Like, you have time. It's not like you're 40 or 50 years old and you're like, oh, how can I? You still have time to grow. You're still under 30. So that's a beautiful thing that you still have time to grow. And you just saying that you want to get out of that. That's the first start right there. You know, I'll definitely, you know, you're my baby. So I'll definitely, you know, help you with that. And a lot of women do say that. And that is not the case. I mean, we were made for you know, for one another. We do need one another. But sometimes from a broken place, women tend to say, well, I don't need a man. Because one, they're not used to having one around. And two, it's a defense mechanism sometimes. And then, you know, you want to eventually have someone in your life, in your space, and you don't want to run them away because you have that type of feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that, I mean, I definitely understand that. So I'm going to go to Valencia. Hey, Miss Valencia, how are you?
Hello. Hey. I'm good.
I should give,
Don't get to me, girl.
wait, I should give a warning to our audience. Valencia is very raw, very upfront, and she's extremely honest. And that's what I love about Valencia. Sometimes I got to curtail her in one way or other, you know, but this time.
The meaning of that word.
Right. So, all right. So we're, you know, and I know Valencia, she was, a life coaching client of mine, and she's become near and dear to my heart. And, a lot of times Valencia will mask certain things with laughter and joking, but she has, you know, she has a life that's getting ready to be turned into a book. You wouldn't believe some of the things that she has to say. And I'll have her back later discussing just her life and how she's still here and still around. So that's a beautiful thing. But all right, Valencia, so tell me about your situation growing up. Did you have a dad in the home? Did you know your dad? How was that experience?
Girl, you want to know that? I had a dad, yeah, but my grandparents raised me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
My grandfather was, in the beginning, well, no. My grandfather was the man that I always wanted to have in my life. But then my mother and father felt that I should come stay with them. And I stayed with my grandparents in Baltimore, and then they wanted me to move here in PG County. Well, at first it was Virginia, and then it ended up being PG County.
Which is in Maryland. Mm-hmm. So tell me what the relationship was like with your dad, Valencia.
Oh, it was hate. My dad, may rest in peace. How was he? He was trying to be nice tonight. He was a man that did not give me self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had self-esteem, but he tore that and shredded that apart when I ended up being, you know, living with him. I watched my dad disrespect my mom. I watched how my dad treated my sister and I, even though I didn't grow up in that life with them from a baby. But when I got with my parents, it was like 14, 15. It was a big change. He didn't care. He would treat my friends a lot better than he would treat me.
What do you mean by that?
And it's like he hated me. What I mean is I can have girlfriends over, and, you know, a daughter wants their parents. You know, I always cling to my mother, but you want your father.
Mm-hmm.
So say you have homework. My mother always be like, oh, go ask your father to help you with your homework. And then he would never have the time. But as soon as my girlfriends and stuff would come over the house, the first thing he say, if y'all ever need me for anything, you know, don't be afraid to come through. I got y'all, or you need help with homework. It was just like I was always labeled as the black child. You know, the one that always
the black sheep.
Yeah, I was the black sheep of the family because the attention I wanted from my dad, I didn't get.
Why do you think that was the case?
Because my father could only, now that I'm older, my father could only give me what he was told.
Yeah.
A person can only give you what they know.
Yeah.
You can't
now that I'm older and Lord have mercy, with everything that has happened in my life, I'm starting to have a better understanding. People you gotta love people where they are. He couldn't give me anything, but it really damaged me.
How so?
I was I'm very independent. Very, very independent. I'm stubborn as all get out. And sometimes I don't really trust what men say. You know, I'll go along with you on it. I'll ride with you. Okay, if that's the truth, then let it be the truth. But I don't know. I don't think a man is capable of loving. I don't think he was ever capable of loving me as his daughter. Because right now I'm in the mix of my sister has a different father, and now I'm like torn between the two because now I have a father that's deceased, but at the same time I have my sister's father that thinks that he might be my father. So that's a whole nother story. So I don't have any answers.
So maybe that's the reason that maybe it's something that your father knew. Yeah.
He was very negative. Like guys that I brought around, he would talk so bad about me to them, and I dated older men because I wanted the attention. I wanted that father figure. And it's a very dangerous game. It's a Russian roulette. That's a very dangerous game to play.
Yeah. So it shaped, so your father being there, but essentially not being there, taught you a lot about men, and him speaking negatively to you and kind of shunning you and ignoring you taught you a lot about men and how you should be treated. And you said he spoke to you,
right,
in a very negative light. So I can understand what you're saying with that. LaShawna.
Yes.
So when you hear Valencia's experience, tell me what you think.
Some of the things she says I can kind of relate to, but I guess with me, like, I'm just coming into the whole, like, speaking out and speaking up for myself. I'm more the type of person, like, I just brush it off and, like, whatever, like, I'm more, I guess you could say passive-aggressive. I'm one of those people you have to push to a point to, like, actually react to things. I don't like people seeing me react. I feel like if you see my emotion, you feel like that's a weakness. That's how I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
right,
for me to be like, I'm not going to allow you to see how you make me feel. So you could be breaking my heart, tearing me down, making me feel like the smallest ant in the world, but I won't allow you to see it.
Right.
So it's kind of like some of her feelings I can relate to, but she's just more outspoken about how it makes her feel.
I think she's coming into that because I think to a certain extent, Valencia was just like you, with
right,
not
you
using her voice.
Something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
you have to say.
Go ahead, Valencia.
No, I'm just saying she has to say something. I'm going to tell you something because what I've learned, which was the hard way, is when you get that voice, you don't know how to shut up. And it can come out you ain't going to shut up because you don't have control over it. You don't understand it. It's because you have so much to say. And then everybody's not going to understand what you're saying because everybody's not in that situation. But you're going to find yourself venting to so many people, and they're going to look like you crazy. Some people going to understand, some people not. So you can't.
I speak to people about how I feel, but I guess like going to that person, if you get what I'm saying. Like I'll come to people that I trust. Like if I'm having one of those moments where I'm just like I just need to get it off my chest, but I won't let that person know you make me feel that way.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just a mental thing with me where I won't allow you to even know that to me, it's like, I'm unbothered by what you're saying, even though it may truly be bothering me. I'm not going to give that person the satisfaction of knowing, you hurt my feelings or something. Like, To me, and I mean, even with like speaking up for themselves, like even like with my son, I'm trying to get. I think I kind of put a little bit too much in.